wonder, do the police respond to mental health crises? Like, how does this work from your knowledge?
The police response to mental health crisis, I think, it's never appropriate in my opinion. I think if you look historically at deaths in custody and you look at people like Leon Briggs, basically, who was mixed race black guy and he died in police custody in Luton. You look at what happened to Kevin Clark, that was on Panorama, basically. Watching the body cam footage of what happened to Kevin Clark reduced me to tears because the police just did not know how to deal with the guy in a very deep episode in front of them. And I think the police response in general to mental health crisis is usually disproportionate. The issue for me personally is that they're an enforcement service. They're not mental health professionals. You can understand why if there is somebody who is in crisis, who is, waving, a weapon around or something, why the police are going to be there. But also, I think they need to be a lot more holistic in how they approach that situation. I mean, you could argue maybe they are fairly holistic because in the US, if somebody's in a mental health crisis, they're waving a knife around, they get shot, they get killed by a cop. But over here, okay, you could argue that they're using restraint, they're using tasers, but all of these things are just as lethal as a handgun is, or an assault rifle is, if you will, whatever it may be. It's kind of, I think we would need to have maybe something that is an alternative, basically, to police response. Because when the police come, with there's a mental health issue, the police will usually come with an ambulance, right? Especially if that person is in real deep crisis in a really, really kind of bad way. And I think there just needs to be kind of a rethink, basically. I've seen a couple of situations on the street with the amount of police that will turn up when somebody's having a mental health episode. A friend of mine has been pepper sprayed by the police, very deep in a mental health crisis, actually screaming at the cops, and the cop just pulled out his CS gas and sprayed him in the face because he swore at him. And it was horrible. It was shocking. And I de-arrested him. I got him de-arrested because I had to say, can you see what you're doing? I said, I can see where it's going. And they were going to get put in the back of the van. I said, can you see what you're doing to him? And I just tried to reason with the police and they actually listened to me. And it was liberating. They actually took that step back and went, we see your point. And they de-arrested him. And they walked him home. I walked with him. I wouldn't leave him. And then they got him to his door and they took the handcuffs off and said, right, we're arresting you. That sort of situation, very sadly, is quite rare, it seems, when you look at the broader picture again with Leon Briggs, Kevin Clark, other people. I think they were the Somerset Police around 2013-14 time responsible for a death in custody of James Herbert, basically, and they were found in 2017 in an inquest, basically, not to be really in any way at fault at all. And James Herbert's family has never seen justice, and James Herbert was in crisis when he died. I think he died in restraint, and the police restraint, and they had missed chances to help him. They saw the chances and never answered it. Now you look at that sort of situation and you say, okay, well, could we have some sort of first responder service in place, basically, rather than the police always being there with the ambulance people? This is what they're trialling in the US, and I'm more like pro that than I am police always turning up. But if you are going to have them there, then I think you need to start talking to the government and the powers that be about proper de-escalation training to deal with mental health crisis.